To marry a beautiful girl is to embrace destiny, not merely outer beauty, but soul-deep radiance. I confess something today, a truth long hidden behind composed expressions and careful chosen words. Beauty first captured me. Yes, I admit. Her smile disarmed defenses. Her presence shifted air. But listen closely. It was never just flawless features or graceful movements. It was the silence between our conversations that felt like sacred, unspoken understanding. When she laughed softly, walls inside me collapsed without resistance, like winter surrendering spring. I once believed love was dramatic, grand gestures blazing, like fireworks above cities. But she taught another quieter language, where fingertips brushing spoke louder than thunder. To marry her would mean choosing the same heartbeat every single morning, choosing patience daily, choosing forgiveness quickly, choosing kindness intentionally, choosing loyalty endlessly. I confess vulnerability. I feared losing freedom, feared responsibility's weight, feared failing expectations. Yet beside her, those fears softened, like sharp stones, polished by rivers. Her beauty intimidates. Yes, I admit. Crowds often notice. Eyes often linger. But what amazes is her humility. She never weaponizes the power she carries. In crowded rooms, she looks for me, not for validation, not for admiration. And that choice, that small, consistent choice, feels more beautiful than any perfect face. To marry her would mean partnership, not possession ever, not fragile dependency. It would mean sharing quiet dinners, sharing unspoken worries, sharing midnight confessions. I confess jealousy. Sometimes shadows whisper, what if someday she sees someone better? But love replies, be someone worthy, not someone fearful. Grow instead shrinking. Her kindness disarms my harsh tendencies. Her patience steadies my restless ambitions. When storms gather inside my mind, her voice becomes a lighthouse beam. To marry her would mean responsibility, protecting her peace, guarding her trust, not controlling freedom, not limiting dreams, but amplifying courage and celebrating independence. I imagine mornings, sunlight through curtains, her sleepy smile, soft against pillows. I imagine arguments, voices slightly raised, but hands eventually reaching across distance. Because real love is not perfection, it is repair. After every fracture, I confess pride. Sometimes ego speaks, wanting to lead, wanting to dominate. Yet she reminds, strength is gentleness, leadership is service, authority is sacrifice. Her beauty fades. Yes, someday. Wrinkles replacing smoothness, time rewriting features. But character deepens, compassion strengthens, shared memories accumulate, roots growing intertwined. To marry her is to promise not temporary fascination, but enduring devotion. It means showing up on exhausting days when romance feels like distant music. It means choosing her well-being first, even when convenience whispers selfish alternatives. I confess longing for a home, not defined walls, but defined warmth, where disagreements heal, where laughter echoes, where silence comforts, without awkward tension. She challenges growth, questions my laziness, exposes my insecurities without humiliating pride. And I confess, that scares me, because growth demands shedding comfortable illusions, yet love invites courage over comfort, commitment over impulse, depth over distraction. To marry her would mean legacy, children learning tenderness. By watching our example, it would mean holding hands publicly and privately supporting. When applause disappears, I confess weakness. Sometimes attention tempts. The world offers shiny temporary thrills, but her presence feels like gravity, grounding my wandering, centering scattered desires. She deserves certainty, not hesitant affection, not half-hearted vows, but fierce, intentional love. To marry her is not conquest. It is surrender of selfish isolation. It is partnership through financial struggles, through health battles, through uncertain tomorrows. I confess ambition, dreams bigger always, sometimes prioritizing success over emotional availability. Yet she teaches achievement without intimacy feels hollow inside, like applause in emptiness. Her beauty inspires, but her resilience commands deep respect. Beyond superficial admiration, I imagine growing old beside her, stories repeated often, but cherished every time. I imagine hospital rooms, hands tightly clasped, eyes communicating strength, when words become fragile, because real marriage is not ceremony, not decorated stages, not filtered photographs. It is ordinary days, stacked consistently until ordinary becomes extraordinary shared history. I confess love, not dramatic obsession, not fleeting infatuation, but grounded devotion. To marry a beautiful girl is to accept that beauty requires equal inner refinement. So I prepare to become better, not to impress, but to deserve, because she deserves. A man unwavering, a heart disciplined, a spirit compassionate. And if someday she chooses me, I will answer with fearless certainty, not because perfect, not because flawless, but because committed